Welcome to ClassMaker 2017. This is the first instructional video which will show you how to create your student database file. You use a template which comes with the ClassMaker program. You can find this template in the Database Files folder underneath the main folder for ClassMaker. The file we're using today is called ClassListTemplate 2017 empty.xls. Once you open this file, you will find a security warning comes up that says macros have been disabled. In order to be able to use macros to check the spelling in your database file, you need to enable content. You click the button and then that button will then disappear. The first thing you need to do is start entering the student names for the year level that you want to create your classes. You do this from column A and you start entering the students in the area cell A2. In this case, the first name is called Daisy Aardvark. The next name is Sophie Butterfly. And the next name is Campbell Camel. You will enter all the student names into column A first. That makes it much easier to check for the spelling when you're doing the rest of the database entry later. I've taken the liberty of entering their student names before, and here we have a student database file containing 84 student names all the way down in column A. The next thing to look at is to enter the information about each student. In this case, the first column is the gender. We put in an F for female, their year level, in this case year level 1, and then we start entering descriptions about each student. There are 4 descriptors which you can give a 1 to 5 value for. In this case it's numeracy, literacy, behaviour and participation. But you can change any of these headers to suit your own school's requirements. In this case we enter a 1 to 5 scale where 1 is low and 5 is high. In this case we'll have Daisy as having low numeracy, literacy of 3, behaviour of 3 and participation in class of 3. There are 2 new columns in ClassMaker 2017 and we've called these a descriptor or whether they belong to a particular group. In this case an accelerated group, or if they have additional requirements due to having English as a second language. The way to use this is to put yes if they belong to this group and leave it blank if they don't. In this case we'll say Daisy is an accelerated student but is not an ESL student. Now you can change any of these column headings as I said before. Let's say you don't want to use ESL. Let's say they have a high music score, and you can enter that in the column header and that will then transfer back to ClassMaker when you actually use the program. In the same way, if you don't want to use participation and instead want to use musical ability, you can do it exactly the same way, and again this column header will translate directly back into ClassMaker when you use it. The 4 descriptors we put there with a range from 1 to 5 are just some descriptors that have been used in the past by other schools. In this case we'll keep the descriptors exactly the same. The next thing you do is scroll over to the essential friends. This is an essential friend is someone who has to be in the same class. Let's say they're sharing an integration aid or they're siblings and they need to be kept together. You can put in any name from column A into this area. In this case for Daisy Aardvark we'll decide she doesn't have any essential friends, but then we start entering her actual friends. Now in this case Daisy has requested maybe Gorilla, which you enter in by either using the keyboard or you can use a drop down menu, and in this case I'll show you how to do this one. It's Penny Kangaroo, so we can scroll down, look for Penny Kangaroo. There she is, and so on and so forth, and you can continue on. The next one is Lisa, oh sorry, Leah Numbat, etc. Let's say that her fourth friend is Charlotte Iguana. But I spelled Charlotte Iguana incorrectly. You can see there that that name in friend 4 has not gone green like the other 3 have. This is because the spelling is incorrect. It's important to get the spelling correct, and so the template file will check for spelling as you enter it. If it doesn't turn green, you know that the spelling is incorrect. In this case, I've got too many A's. Once I put that in, then the cell goes green and everything is good. In this case, we won't say that she's got a fifth friend or any incompatible students. An incompatible student is one in which they cannot be together in the same class. And this could be because of any number of reasons. Maybe they are twins and you want to separate them. Maybe they just don't work well together. You can have 2 incompatible friends per student. We then start with the next name, in this case Soapy Butterfly. She's female, year level 1. Her numeracy level is 4. Literacy is 3. Behaviour is 4. Participation is 5. She is not accelerated, not an ESL student, but she does have an essential friend, Frank Yak. And let's say I put an extra space after Yak. You'll notice that Frank's name, even though the spelling is correct, but because it has that additional space at the end of his name, it doesn't have an exact match, and Excel uses exact matches. And this is a good way of showing the control Q, which is the macro used to take away or check for spelling or to actually remove any of these additional spaces. So if I hit control Q, the macro enables, and you can see it's removed any of those spaces in Frank Yak's name, and it's now showing green because that name is now spelt correctly. And we can then go ahead and go through all the other names, again, adding the essential friends. In this case, Charlotte Iguana, Archer Emu, but I've got another file which I've gone through and done all these names. And you can see as it goes through, in this case we've got Campbell Camel is incompatible for Soapy Butterfly. Let's say we've got James Turtle. I put 2 T's in there. Again, it's incorrectly spelt. If I hit Control Q, which means basically hold the control button down, then press Q, you can then see that James Turtle's name is highlighted but also circled with a red circle. Once we change the name, the spelling in here to make it right, it then will be, the name goes green and the circle is removed. Now once you've got this in a format that you're happy with all the names, all in the with their details, their friends, essential friends, whether they're accelerated or an ESL or whatever descriptor you want to put on their names, you can then save this file, save as, in this case we'll call it Year 1 27 Demo, and we'll save that, and then this is now ready for use in ClassMaker.